Okay, hello and welcome back to another one of my videos. Thank you for everyone who watched the last one, the quick update, but today's video is not going to be about me. Today's video is actually about one of the subscribers asked me to, or I don't actually know if you're subscribed. I hope you are. But anyway, one of the viewers asked me to have a look at one of his games and to review it on camera. And I honestly think that's a pretty good idea. And so that kind of goes for anyone watching this. If you want me to look at one of your games, send it to me. Keep in mind, I'm only 15 to 1600 elo, so you know my point of view is not the same as someone who's much better at chess than I am. But especially if you're lower, like sub 1000, I could show you kind of the areas where I think there might have been a mistake, and then yeah, hopefully you can learn something from it. So feel free to shoot me a message on chess.com, leave a comment. I don't really know exactly how I want to do this, but right now the easiest way would be to message me on chess.com, and then to tell me which game you want. Just send me the username of like the opponent or something in the date. Okay, anyway, let's get started with a daily puzzle and then we will move on to the review. So I have, this is my second time recording this video. The first time the audio, like everything just kind of messed up and it glitched out. So, I've actually already worked through it. But it's good because I was quite messy trying to figure out the solution the first time. So take a minute to pause it here if you want. It's really kind of a tricky puzzle. My first instinct was to play here, right, and threaten just to take this, and he'll have to move back. But after we move the king here, he has to move the bishop out like to here, and we have to try and like run the king over and try to put the knight here to block it, and then maybe like push up like this. But the issue with that line anyway is because his king gets over here, it gets too messy. And what we need is something immediate, right? We need something immediate. So the first thing we have to do is to push the pawn, and it's quite simple. We just threaten to promote, and he actually can't stop us from promoting. But the tricky part is if we make a queen, this is pinned, right? And he is in stalemate, and the game's tied. And we have a win here, so we need to try and find it. So instead of that, we could think about a knight, and it protects that square. And if we bring this in, these squares are protected, but I don't think it works because he has the bishop here, and we'd have to move the knight back here in order, like we'd have to have a knight here and here in order to be in checkmate. And actually, I don't think it's possible to checkmate with the knight unless your opponent like allows you to. And basically that means, especially since he has a bishop here, he's already in the corner, so if the bishop wasn't here and you want it to be fancy, maybe it would work. I don't even think it would work though, because then the king would be able to get out. So that really only leaves a bishop, right? Because if we do a rook, it's in the exact same situation where that piece is pinned. So we need to unpin the piece. And now we have this move here to stop the king from running anywhere. We're kind of creating that net, and then we have checkmate. So really cool checkmate, really difficult puzzle. If you paused it and you didn't understand it, don't worry. You missed the first video. I did not get it right at all. Okay, we're jumping into today's video. It's brought to us by Panda Lover 9999. Again, thank you for the idea to do this. So again, feel free to send me the games. The games that you lose are going to be more instructive than the games that you win. But and I won't tell you the outcome of today's game, so it'll be a surprise. But Panda Lover has a relatively new account, but it's playing at a pretty high level, so I imagine that they played over the board at some point, because they're already at 1271. And so I have started going over this, but I was having too many issues like trying to do some like sidelines, and good, it doesn't do it in this one, but where the board like turns this weird foggy hazy color. And so I figured out a way to stop that, and that was the whole issue before. So I've been to like maybe move 10. but not much further. And I haven't done this with the engine either. So, and I don't have like the evaluation bar on there. I just have the lines in the top right corner. And if you guys want to see what I'm seeing too, then you can. But if not, I'll just try to do my best to show you the lines that I'm seeing, the ones that I find interesting. Okay, so yeah, anyway, out of the start, I can tell everything looks, fairly normal. Even this is kind of okay, but I think this might have been a slight error. Because now, if it was equal before, I think now black has a slight advantage here. And it's just because now you're having to defend this weak pawn, right? And it's the same idea as the fried liver attack. And for those of you who don't know, the fried liver it's kind of a cheap shot, I think, but it works, especially at lower levels. And I'm sure if you're watching this and you're at a lower level, then you've probably seen it. And you have this move, right? And I think the best move is they have to play like d5, and then you don't have anything. But sometimes, I don't know, sometimes like you get a move like this, right? Or even they're like, oh, I'll kick the knight. But now you have this move, and it's a bit of a tricky situation. Or even sometimes too, you see this, and this is actually this has a counter gambit. This is the Traxler counter gambit. So I'll show you briefly the line that I'm talking about. But anyway, this allows for like this move, and you're like, oh, it's a fork and whatnot, and it's difficult to defend. Usually you have to like move your queen, and then they're just up a rook right out of like the start, and you drop back, and even then you'd be losing that. You'd have to like push up here or something, and again that move probably should have been played from the get-go. So yeah, but the interesting thing too is to watch out for is black sometimes can refute this with what's called the Traxler counter gambit. And if they were to play here, well, now you have this move, and it's really surprising. I think the best is just to play king f1 and not even take it. But it looks like a free bishop. You're like, what are they doing, right? But now you bring the knight in. That's check. And if they just drop back, then now you're bringing the queen in. And it can get really nasty real quick. They have to play queen to f3. I'm actually not sure. It's queen to h4 is the better one. Yeah, queen to h4. And that idea is just that you're threatening checkmate. I don't know. They might want to play here, right? It seems like a fairly normal move. And then you play knight to d4. Just sacrificing the knight again. That's kind of crazy. But actually I guess it's not, because it's protected by the queen, isn't it? So never mind. But anyway, yeah, so that leads to all sorts of trouble. There's, better videos on the actual gambit. But my point is just to avoid this idea of that coming. And even if this happens, I think, again, similarly, the move that we see here is this move, and I get it, right? It's reasonable. It looks like it defends both. But I don't think you're able to escape just being down a pawn at the end of this line. I mean, they could even go here, right? Here, and like here, and let's see. I guess you'd have to move the knight back. But even in this position, now you're just losing a piece, aren't you? Or you're not losing a piece, you're shredding it. But also, like, another variation is this line that we get here. And yeah, so that's just one thing to be mindful of. When this happens, I think usually the best move, and let's see, yeah, it's the case in here, is to play d4, just to block this. And after they take here, is that the best move from them? Yeah, it is. The best move from them would be to take here, and then I think you play knight to a4, and you're just not allowing this, right? If they go here, you go here, here, and the position is equal here, maybe slightly better for white. But wait, hold up. Sorry, did I change that? I did not. Let me change this so that you can see it a little bit better. There we go. But yeah, so that's just one thing to keep in mind. And the same goes for the fried liver gambit, or the fried liver attack. Just when you see like there, you just push here. You just block the bishop. Because if they take here, well, okay, now the material's equal, and I think you're actually you're just up a knight now. So it's a mistake to take that way, and if they take here, then the key move is to jump out here and attack this bishop right here, and then to take on c5. and and then the position is equal, and then you can continue with the game. So yeah, we see knight bishop to e3, which is it's a reasonable thing to do. But I think at the end of it, you're just down a pawn. You're losing castling rights on the king side. But you have the right idea, right? This bishop's really annoying. It needs to go. It's preventing us from moving our queen anywhere. I don't know what was the best move. Knight to g3 would have been the best move here, just to allow your queen to get out. I think I was almost I was debating this move. I don't think it likes this move. I think it's it's slightly better than here, than what you played. Just attacking. But at the end of the day, I think they can what's the best move? Bishop g5. Yeah, that is the best move. But now you're able to castle, and they can't attack you immediately, and you've kind of have some pressure on your own. That's the way I would have played it. But I get why you brought the bishop out. But it's just the thing to think about too is I think now you don't really have any choice. But anyway, I like the idea that you're okay, this bishop can't stay, it needs to go. Just I would have done it differently rather than with the bringing the rook, getting rid of our castling. Because now you have this semi-open file, right? The rook wants to be here, but why not just make it so that the queen, so that the king is in safety and short castles anyway? Is kind of the way I would look at it. So yeah. And let's see, we see some moves. They move back. Yeah, you get your queen out. You're gonna long castle. That's good. Normal move, taking here in the middle. Okay, but where are you gonna put your knight after? That's one thing. Usually taking on these, I don't think it wasn't a mistake. It's just now instead of a developing move. He likes knight to d5 here is what the computer wants, which is that right? Because it seems like you just have this, but after rook to b1, and why would they not just play here? And then rook takes on f6. What? Rook takes, that's the best move? That's kind of crazy. And then queen here. Wow, that's crazy. And the idea is they have to be very careful. They now have to play here, and you can take on. What does it say? It says to queen to h5 check. Here they have to run here, and basically the king's not safe. So you can rip open the position. But you're down a rook. I guess the idea is that this rook is still kind of trapped. It's like he's playing without a rook anyway. So it's not such a huge deal. But still, I would not expect anyone. I would not have done that. That's crazy. That's a crazy. That's a crazy move. What is a much more likely move is here. I would have even just considered long castles here. Honestly, just get the king to safety. And now you can stack your rooks. You're going to start pushing these pawns, especially if they castle here. But you want to get your pieces behind your pawns, right? You want to attack with your pieces, not your pawns. That's kind of a good lesson to keep by. But yeah, I personally would not have taken here because and this knight takes on d4. Knight takes on d4 is the best, but I could see this happening. Of course, he doesn't want to double his pawn structure, but now you're playing knight to e2, and I guess he is stuck defending this, but I think black is slightly better, 0.5 better in this position. That's what it's telling me. Yeah, and there's just no need to allow that. It even says taking with knight is best. I think that's kind of crazy. I'd probably just drop the rook back to f2, but rook to g3 is a little bit better. In this position, and if they were to, they can't castle right because the bishop is here. So yeah, they have to play here maybe, but they can't because the bishop takes it. So you're gonna lose this piece. I think, unless if they bring the queen out, what happens here? And then we just play like a4. Okay, whatever, But anyway, the position is about equal. But yeah. Anyway, I guess my point is like whether it's um, the pawn or the knight taking here, I think is at a disadvantage for you because now you have to find the place to move your pieces, and instead of like making a move that could actually help your position, you're stuck moving another piece that you've already moved. So that's one thing to think about. If he takes, if he was the one to initiate the trade, fine, all right, fine. Now you have like a lot less pressure. That was a good piece in the center. But one of the other YouTubers I've seen, Grandmaster Igor, is it? I don't know if that's him. I can't remember the YouTube channel, but anyway, he says to take is a mistake, and usually just to take because because the trade is offered, it's maybe not the best. So yeah, you did play. Okay, so you did find the best move. That's good. How does he try to defend it? He tries to defend it with queen to e7. Okay. And then here, I mean, like at some point you're just gonna have to castle. The knight to d5 looks good. Of course they can kick it right after, and actually knight to d5 is the best move. Because now they're the ones having to find like a spot. Like they probably have to go here, and then, I mean, the computer likes a4. I would still just consider like castling at some point, just like finishing your development. And then after here, you're gonna have to move right back, probably to, it likes knight to e3. But yeah, knight to e3 is actually the only thing that keeps it equal. If you go here, what's the issue with here? The issue with here is that now you have b5, and you drop back bishop to b3, and then you have b4, and like, I don't know, maybe here, knight takes on b3 check. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I would probably take here, but now you have this big open file, and it's like +2 for black or -2, whichever way you want to look at it. So anyway, that's kind of an interesting line to go down. So yeah, I would probably just castle. That's probably what I would have done. Okay, now this is kind of a case where I wouldn't mind trading, because if he takes, he's going to mess up your pawn structure, right? Having doubled pawns usually isn't good. Having doubled pawns in the middle can be okay, as we see sometimes in the Stonewall attack. Sometimes you have like 3 pawns like in a position like this, or like this even. And that can be okay, but it can become an issue in the end game. But for the middle and opening, it can be okay. But, as a good rule of thumb, it's not good. So let's see. You blocked it. That was actually the best move from the engine. I would have just considered taking, to be honest with you. Taking, and then, they take, and then probably castling. Yeah. So, and if they were to take, if you take here, then the position's equal. They have to take with the knight to keep the position equal, which I'm not sure that's super evident, because this is a really good knight. I don't think many people would want to get rid of this knight or give it up, and then you're supposed to play here and recapture the pawn. But now, do they have this move? I think they do, but you can take on c7. So yeah, now you kind of get in and start opening up their position a bit too. So now you're kind of winning in this case, if they were just to do that. But even if you just take here, then like this position it's equal, right? Obviously we want to play for advantage, but I can see sometimes like if you're a little bit worried, you're like, oh, there seems like there could be some attack here. I could see this move being played, and my point is that it's not a bad move. But anyway, the computer likes knight to d5. I don't know if that's supernatural. And again, I don't know if you should have. I guess taking there is okay with the bishop from your opponent, because it is a good knight. But again, like just because the trade's there, I like that needs to not be the first instinct, you know. This is kind of crazy too. Why did you not take with the bishop? Yeah, I mean it's better to take with the bishop here. I'd be curious to know your reasoning for why you didn't take, for why you took with the pawn instead. I mean, you're not losing. It's just, well, it's just not as good to take because now you have this doubled pawn structure. Whereas before, you know, you had this nice pawn chain. Yeah, if you were going to take, you should have probably taken with that because now you're putting some pressure on here. Yes, they're going to go here and kick you, but you know, you can just like drop right back. You still have this nice bishop that's controlled of all the light squares. That's the other thing, you've blocked off, you know, all this control that your bishop had before with your own piece. So yeah, that's one thing that I would look out for. Okay, both of you guys decide to castle. That's good. Yeah, this is just a normal, it's called a prophylactic move. It's just to get rid of any ideas of the future. I mean, like now he's off of this like light square. It's not such a weakness on like this pawn not being able to take either. So yeah, that's just a decent move. Rook to h3 is the best. I don't know if I would have played that. This is kind of a critical point when like, you know, now it's time to start figuring out moves. I probably would have, personally, I probably would have kicked the knight. Yeah, I probably would have kicked the knight. It's not the best, it's the second best move. Well, now the computer says the first best move. It's just, this is a super powerful knight. Look at it. I mean, it's like called the octopus knight, right? It controls all 8 like possible squares to control. And it's very similar to the type of the knight that sometimes we get in the Stonewall that's like right here or like right there. It's an extremely powerful piece, so it can't stay there, right? Like this is a time where if you look at these two pieces, this knight is worth so much more than the bishop because of the squares it controls. This bishop controls like four squares. I mean, I guess 5, technically 6 maybe, but this knight controls 8. So this knight needs to go at some point. I'm not too sure your reasoning behind rook to f3 or f1. Sorry, but it's probably just an inaccuracy. I don't think it's like a mistake or anything. Okay, and then you play this move. Perfect. This is yeah, this is a good move. He drops his knight back. Again, I don't, so let's see, I don't know if you're going to take or not. I don't think I would take. I think I would drop my bishop back to b3, maybe. But you take, okay. You take and you probably push the pawn, right? Yeah. I don't know. Is that the best move? I don't think so. I think, yeah, I think you needed to take here. And just be okay with losing this pawn. And again, this kind of goes back to why you shouldn't have doubled that pawn in the first place. Like, it all plays in. Like, sorry, I don't mean to be harsh. I don't mean to be rude. I'm just trying to point out, like, the kind of the things that I see and the errors, you know, that they can create. And we see it here, right? But now, like, now you have all this light squares, like, that are open. You have the dark squares that are open from, like, all sorts of different angles, you know? And even, like, here now is a potential threat. It could be worse. Like, if they had bishops on the board, it would be, like, a lot worse, probably, than it is. But, yeah, anyway, and it missed out on an opportunity to equalize, because you're still playing with the pawn down in this position. And so instead of worrying about that, you know, here, and then you can play, like, and then you can take here, right? And now we're equal in material. So that's kind of the main thing. The main thing, yeah, is just not to double your pawns if you don't have to. Like, there's no reason you didn't need to take with the bishop, and by taking with the pawn, limit the bishop's like usefulness. Yeah, again, it just likes a4 here. And then you're just winning the bishop, you're just winning the knight. That's what I'm saying, like, I don't think you need to trade this because this knight, like, is looking kind of bad. But even then, like, you know, just find ways if you can not have to give away one of your piece for one of their pieces is better, right? It's better just to win the piece, so yeah. And then here, like, I think they have to play here and then here, and yeah, now you're better. So yeah, a4 was kind of a key move here. and then to take here would have been the better move. So yeah, they drop back. They're defending this. Okay, that's good. You move your king here. I think that's a good move. Let's see. That's one of yeah. That's like the engine's like second or third choice. I think that's a good move. You're getting your king to a safer position. You kind of got a lull, right? There's no threats being made. You can't make a threat immediately. So now's a good time to go ahead and take the time because you have it to make a move. So I think that's a good choice. Um, here, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably look at some point like pairing up your rooks, like moving the rook on G to F3, like here maybe at some point. Um, I don't know. You could try breaking open the center. It's the thing too is there's not a ton of ideas either. It's wanting you to play queen to F2 here. See, is it like rook to E3 is another move that it seems to like. I don't. Is this a blunder? This isn't a blunder. So you could have struck at the center. And I think in this position we're kind of okay because now we've gotten rid of our doubled pawns. They do have control of the open file, but you know you can probably contest it at some point by putting your rook here. So yeah, I don't like this position. To me, seems a bit more manageable because before it's like we're kind of lacking ideas. At least I am. Anyway, I don't think queen to e3 is a bad move. It might be an accuracy, but okay. And now you strike at the center. Again, this is perfect, but you could have just played that move before. So they don't take. Just go ahead. I would say just go ahead and get rid of your double pawns, and yeah, the computer suggests the same. Even if they play this, I mean, just drop like here. Is that the best move? No, it's not. Queen to c3 would have been the best move here. That's kind of interesting because this is you can't really, but I guess you could. I mean, yeah, they're gonna double here, aren't they? And then you just play h4, and it's a tough position because they're up a pawn, but you know their pawn structure is nice. It's not like they have like these weird pawn islands that are easy to target. And your pawn structure looks a lot better too. Like after it's been fixed here. So yeah, I think that was right to take in the center and fix the pawn structure. So they take back here. I'm kind of surprised they don't take with the rook. I think this is a mistake from the opponent because yeah, why would you take that way? I'm not sure. But you know, you have the rook. You can make a threat. Whenever you can make a threat, usually it's a good move because it forces your opponent to like react to your threats, and they're playing your game instead of like giving them opportunities to make moves. And again, this is maybe a slight mistake from the opponent. It's nothing game changing, but you know, it definitely could be a slight mistake. I don't hate this move. It's maybe an inaccuracy because of f4. I mean, I don't know. Again, I think here would have been fine. I don't hate that move. It's just like, because you're making a threat, right? So it's okay. It's just after they push here, I'm not sure the best move is... Oh, the best move is queen to g4. Interesting. And then they should play queen to e7. And then now you have to like play rook to h3. Yeah, they probably just play h6 here. And they're just going to kind of walk down the board in like a perfect play scenario. Obviously, we're humans, so you know we may not get that. And you know, I like even though this might be a slight mistake because you're allowing them to push. I like this move. I think especially around this level, it's even at my level. This seems like a move I would make just to target the pawn, force them to bring more material to it. I don't think it's a bad move. So yeah. Now I'm not too sure about this move because I don't really know what it accomplishes. I think a better move would have been like bringing your queen back to a more central square, like queen to d2. And this is the engine's third line. The engine also still likes rook to e3. And after here, you know, now you can take here, and now the game's equal. So yeah, rook to e3, rook to e1, same idea, just well, actually, what's the difference here? And now they have f4, and you have rook to f3. Can they do that? And then you have to play rook takes on f4. and then now the position's like equal. Yeah, like I don't know, you might have to strike there or something. Is it your turn? Whose turn is it? Oh, you can't. You're being checked. Okay. Anyway, yeah, okay. I don't know about this move, and I think the computer says this was maybe a mistake or maybe an inaccuracy, just because again, like your moves should have a purpose, and I'm not really too sure what the purpose is with this move. And then we see f4, so let's see how you respond. Yeah, rook to b3 is what the computer wants, just swinging your rook all the way out here. I think this is a much more natural move. Okay, and you're making a threat for the pawn again. They give you a check. That's the best move from them. You hide your king. Okay, yeah. All good. Yeah. This might have been a mistake as well. Yeah, I'm not too sure what that was. I mean, I get you're trying to make a thing, but I'm guessing you probably just forgot that this wasn't defended, and that's okay. I mean, you know, it's a mistake. It happens. It's not a big deal. But I think what you need to be doing in this move is like finding a way to get your queen activated again, and that's part of the thing too. Is like your queen is so far away from the action. Like look at it, his king's over here, you know, and you're attacking these pawns over here. It's okay to go on the attack on the other side, but especially when you're down material, you need to start making like actual threats, and he's able to protect all this. I think this is a better move. He can't take, right? If he takes, you know, you're winning his queen. And so even if they push, but now you're able to like drop your queen back here. Although I guess this is, yeah, but now this is losing a rook, so you probably have to play like rook here. Yeah, I guess all said and done, I might not have found this, but like I would probably think maybe a move like this would be like reasonable. You know, even after here, yeah, now you can take here, right? Now you can take here, and like this would be winning for you, of course. So yeah, let's see what happens in the game. In the game, we get g4, they take. You go here. I mean, yeah, I get what you're doing, making a threat on the queen. But this just looks weird to me. Like this looks weird because I can't really explain why this looks weird. It just looks weird, and when I'm looking at the computer as well, it's telling me it's like not a good move. It's a mistake. Because now we're at like -5. I think, yeah, rook h to f3 is the best move. I think if you really want to kick the queen, it would be better to play this. But I guess this comes to the same issue here. And now, like at some point, you're probably going to have to give up your rook later down. So I don't even think I would like trade. I think it would be better to go here and try and get your pawn out. But again, I've been saying to go, like, I think this move should have been played for a while now. But yeah, that move looks odd. And now he's kind of infiltrating, right? So I think you get a little bit worried. You drop back to protect your king. It's understandable. I don't think it does a whole lot in this position, but I don't know. It's not so bad. And you can see the issue too with your like queen, right? It's so far away from action. I mean, there's no way to get the queen activated, and I guess that's part of the issue too, right? Now, if you want to activate your queen, you're gonna have to go here, and it was blocking this square. So now you're back to exactly where you started, right? So again, it's just kind of like these moves can make a difference in a game. Let's see. Opponent plays here. Don't really know the point of this move. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's probably okay. It's actually one of the best the best moves. I don't really understand the point of it. I guess you're just targeting this pawn. Yeah, and you might lose that second one too. But okay, you make your own threats. But again, it's not enough, right? Because now they just go here, and you can't take here. They'll take here, and you're just losing in this position. But yeah, so I think a better move would have been maybe rook to d1. It likes rook to e1 is what it's saying. That's one of the best moves. That's kind of surprising to me. I would have played this move first before playing that, just because again, like this doesn't stop the capture here. They're losing it no matter what. But good for you. You found the best engine line. um, and oh, sneaky. Yeah, he didn't take it. Okay, that's sneaky. All right, good find. Good find. This is wow. This is a poisoned rook. He could have taken it this way. He could have taken it this way, and then you could have played here. I don't know if you saw that, but I think a lot of people would have a hard time not taking this, especially at 12,000. Um, but it's made in two. I don't know if you saw that. I imagine you did. Well, obviously you saw that it was pinned, but it's also pinned because like if you were to take that way, I mean it's better to play this, right? It's checkmate. But say his rook was still here, it was also pinned for that reason. So that good tactical find. Good tactical find. Um, he's still up 3 pawns, but that was clever. So what do we get? We get rook to d8. Um, yeah, that can't be the best move because now you have here. If they take back, then you have checkmate, right? Oh, that's okay. That's exactly what happened in the game. Um, so yeah, a blunder from our opponent. Good find, good tactical find at the end. Honestly, um, yeah, good find. That was good tactical find at the end. I think honestly, he might have outplayed you a bit in the game, but those tactics won out. He made an absolute blunder at the end, and you had a really good tactical find. So yeah, I hope it's not too bad. I kind of pick apart the game quite a bit and quite harsh, but I'm kind of seeing the moves that look weird for me to play. And yeah, I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope it was interesting for the other guys watching at home. And yeah, send me your games if you want me to review them. Get in touch with me somehow, and yeah, I'll make a video about them. Thanks for watching. Yeah, like and subscribe if you haven't or if you want to see more. And yeah, see you guys later.